In this video, I went to visit Pewdiepie Land. If by Pewdiepie Land you mean Sweden, then yeah, I went to visit Pewdiepie Land. This is gonna be a vlog about Sweden. Sweden is actually the first Nordic country I visited in my life, besides Russia, which is the country I come from. Holy shit! Since this is a Nordic country and we visited in the coldest month of the year, it was pretty cold. And the cold can be really demoralizing sometimes, especially when it's later in the day and you're like a little bit tired and you exit a warmer place, you feel yourself kind of turning into ice for a second. On the other hand, visiting in February is good because not a lot of people are visiting, therefore there aren't a lot of lines, annoying tourists, traffic, etc. I was in Sweden for 5 days and stayed in an apartment in Stockholm. What I can say about Stockholm is that it is a very charming old city with beautiful architecture and everything. It would have been perfect if not for all of the construction, which was completely plaguing the city everywhere. Oh my god, I mean seriously, there is more construction in Stockholm than in Luxembourg, and that says a lot. The highlight of Stockholm was definitely the Royal Palace, no dispute, which is, I mean, it's a ridiculously cool place to be in. It has that amazing royal atmosphere that kind of seems more refined with this castle. Like, I've never really felt a stronger royal atmosphere for some reason in other royal castles that I've been to. The designs of the rooms are really beautiful. It is packed with wacky furniture, and most importantly, there is a lot of stuff there that is related to Swedish history. It has the original portraits of a bunch of Swedish monarchs, probably all of them, what honors they were awarded, what honors they awarded to someone, and you can read about all of that in more detail on these stands here. The Royal Palace is just a really cool place to be. If you're ever in Stockholm, you need to visit it. It's just a must go. And if you're into Swedish history, I mean, the biggest collection of Swedish historic items is there, so I mean, yeah, you have to visit. The stuff around the palace is also pretty cool. First of all, the Riksdag, which is just across the street from the palace, is a beautiful building. The statues around the palace and on the palace are really interesting, and overall the entire old city of Stockholm has that enchanted atmosphere, which is really nice. Stockholm is also a port city, which means you can take a mini boat cruise to go around different islands in the Stockholm archipelago, which we did. It was mainly to see the nature just outside of Stockholm though, which I mean, I never would have expected it to be this beautiful. Along with all the houses on these islands, it makes for a really beautiful atmosphere. We also had lunch on the boat, and this is the ice cream they served me. Like, I didn't even know it was possible to make a leaf like that out of biscuits. What? And I got served this on a boat, man. The ASA Museum. This is the first thing that comes to your mind when you get asked, what is there to visit in Sweden? Now, does it live up to the hype? Kinda. First of all, the Vasa is a really cool boat, and when you come in, you're like, wow, this is incredible. And then you can see it from different angles, from top, from bottom. I think there's a total of 6 floors where you can see it from. The museum gives you basically a 360-degree view of the thing, which is really cool. There are also artifacts that came from the ship on the side that you explore while looking at the ship. They display skeletons of those who got sunk on the ship. They have mini models of the ship. They show how life was on the ship. What was the ship? You get the picture. But you know what bums me out about this museum? You know what grinds my gears? That you can't go into the ship itself. Like, what? Like, there are 4 floors on that thing. It's huge. You could have shown so much there. You could have made it such a unique trip. But no, man. And I get that there's a risk of it basically getting damaged if a lot of people walk on there. But I don't care, man. This is exactly why I can't consider the Vasa Museum highlight of my trip material. It's more of like, oh, that's pretty cool material. So, since it's pretty cool, I would suggest you visit it in Sweden. I mean, it's basically a must-go-to. But, I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool, though. I can see why people are like, oh, it's really nice. So anyways, now let's talk about the real stuff. Let's talk about the nature of Sweden. Man, there's a national park which we visited, which was absolutely breathtaking. I mean, the pictures speak for themselves. It's literally a winter wonderland from fairy tales. Like, I really didn't expect it to be this beautiful, since this is what I imagined it would be, like the rest of Sweden. But it was much more than that. Beautiful pine trees, beautiful lakes, beautiful rivers. It is truly a magical place. Like, it's amazing. There are places where you can light a fire along with huts and toilets, which means you can literally spend like 3 days in a row in this place sleeping in a sleeping bag. I'm not sure if there are bins though. There are also these wooden bridges, and occasionally they happen to be stairs, which is really cool. And there are a lot of them at the start. The only real critic I have of this is that the winter roads are all iced. Like, some of them are very slippery, and my father fell like 20 times. And I can't say it was fun for me either. But otherwise, it is truly a breathtaking, amazing place. I would say it's the highlight of my trip. Let's see what else. I visited Druttenholm, the Palace of the Queen. The palace was away from the city, which means there was less people, so it felt like kind of a off-the-grid experience, which was really nice. The palace interior, as in the design and layout of the rooms, was definitely a lot less interesting than in the royal palace. And it was also a shorter trip, but the thing that made it memorable and interesting were the paintings. There were portraits of foreign monarchs like Louis XIV, Nicholas I, Franz Joseph I of Austria, Napoleon III, etc. There's so many of them for some reason, and I don't know if they're original portraits of them, but it was really interesting to look at. It was a pretty cool place. Outside though, it was pretty depressing, I'm not gonna lie, because it was the winter and everything was iced and everything was depressing and the day was ending. But the Chinese palace was pretty cool though, although there's no way to enter it, which is a bummer. But yeah. I also visited Uppsala and the former capital of Sweden, Sigtuna, but there was really nothing to do there. There was a castle and an arts museum in Uppsala. We didn't go to the arts museum. It was basically an industrial city. And Sigtuna was a pretty lively city, and I kind of liked it because it gave that kind of like village atmosphere. And there was also a couple of ruins to look at of churches. But yeah, otherwise, yeah. Anyways, conclusion. My trip to Sweden was a really good one. I really liked it. It was short, it was sweet, it was nice. It was definitely a really good experience. It was the first time I've been to a Nordic country in my life. It was the first time I've been to a Scandinavic country in my life, and it was an amazing time, yeah. So yeah, I guess this is the outro. Subscribe, leave a comment, like the video, yeah, do whatever. So anyways, yeah, bye.